Good morning, Steve Reed with the morning grain comments. Well, overnight we've got prices higher. I think that first of all, in the corn market, some carry through and carry over from yesterday's USDA numbers. We had the corn acreage numbers at 92.7. The trade was looking for 93.7, and the market responded to that by thinking there's just not enough foundation for the market to add to supply and satisfy the demand. We also noted that in the corn market, the 8 to 14 day maps went a little bit drier than yesterday across the northern plains and maybe even Iowa. For the beans, two things. Number one, we started out overnight lower after Xi's speech at the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party, suggesting, adding some rhetoric about the West intervening with Chinese policy and some of their programs. But the beans have rallied back since because of this weather forecast. And bean acres at 87.5 versus average guess of 89.5 also reduces the foundation underneath the market to satisfy the demand. We also noted that there's 9.8 million soybean acres yet to be planted. Half of that is double crop acres that may not get planted in the South because of the late harvest of the soft red winter wheat crop. We also noted that there's about 1.2 million acres that are in the dry areas of the Dakotas. And so that kind of limits maybe the upside in crop numbers. And as far as the wheat, actually the numbers were a little bit negative, with wheat acres at 46.7 versus the average guess of 45.9. But again, the market's very concerned about the 30 and 60-day outlook of warm and dry conditions across the northern plains, the Pacific Northwest, and the Canadian prairies, all of which we've got some people right now estimating the U.S. Wheat crop at 1.735 million bushels versus the latest guess of 1898, which could put the 21-22 wheat carryout down to 555 versus 770. In diving into the corn numbers, we could see a crop of 14,870, and some people think that that would suggest that the carryout might be closer to 850 versus 1107, and the 21-22 carryout 620 versus 1357. That would suggest higher corn prices. Over on the bean side, the bean crop is somewhere around 4.3, maybe 3.5 million bushel number. And if we have the normal crush and export numbers, the soybean carryout could get down as low as 85 million bushels versus USDA's 155 for 21 and 22. We also noted that the funds yesterday were buyers of 24,000 soybean contracts, 15,000 meal, 32,000 corn, and 12,000 wheat. And we'll see if end users and funds want to add to these positions because of the talk of lower U.S. supply. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day, and remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.